Bienvenidos a su podcast Encaminados al éxito, donde te acercarás más que ayer al éxito que tendrás mañana. Con tu host, Luis Romano.
Hello, everybody listening to this podcast. You're surprised, This is the first time we're recording in English, fully in English, because the guest that I have today, even though he's Hispanic ascendant, right? Puerto Rican ascendant. He'd rather do it in English so that the message gets through the right way. All right, so this is another episode. This is episode 25 of Encaminados al Éxito, where we talk about growth, leadership, and anything that has to do with developing your potential to become better, become a better human being, become a better leader, growth, and get to where you want to be in life. Again, this is our first episode recorded in English. You can find us in Apple Podcasts. We're on the main platforms, podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, just to name a few. And we're also going to be trying to upload as many episodes as we can to YouTube. It's just a little bit of a pain in the neck to upload them on YouTube. But without further ado, we're gonna have here the guest that I have here. I met him a little while ago. We did the Latino convention together. He was part of the first class of what we like to refer to as the Latin Tech Talks. It's just short talks from the community, from people that are making a difference within the community. He was part of that first inaugural class from that event, and he's 21 years old. He was born in Reading. The people know him as Gio the Boss Man. All right, so we're gonna be talking about that. All right, Gio is a motivational speaker who has spoken to in front of many audiences. In the ones that we can mention right now are in front of universities, are probably the most important ones. We're gonna talk a little bit about that too, and also. He likes to talk about finding passion and purpose through hardship. And that is exactly what we do here in this podcast. You know, we want to inspire you, showing you stories from other people that probably have been gone through other things that most of the times people just don't talk about. And so that's what we want to do. We want to talk about those things so that others are inspired to follow the same path. And the guest that I have with me today is Gio Negron Garcia. Welcome to the podcast Encaminados al Éxito, Gio. How are you doing, my man?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be on your podcast.
The pleasure is mine, actually. So we talk about. Before starting recording, we talk about how how the purpose of the podcast is to inspire other people, and I just want to jump right into it, and I want to ask you, or I want to actually invite you to tell the people that is listening right now to who is Gio, who is Giovanni. How can you describe Giovanni from, let's say, a third-person view?
How I describe Giovanni, someone who's energetic, someone who has great influence, and someone who does great things, and someone who is limitless, someone who has learned to become limitless, and very strong. Not tough-minded, but very strong person who can overcome any barrier and just can see the light through anything. That's how I can really define myself.
All right, all right. And Gio, I've seen some of the videos that probably I think I've seen them all. I think I've seen them all. The ones that you have on YouTube and the ones that you have on Facebook, on your Facebook wall. And I can see your passion. That's something that, and I believe I told you in person that that's something that you should keep on doing, because it's something different. You know, it's not like your normal motivational speaker kind of way. It's something unique, and that's something that I really like about the ones that you do. Talk to me about where that comes from.
Believe it or not, when I started making these videos, I'm a huge wrestling fan. So how I learned public speaking is through wrestling promos. That's when wrestlers do the tough guy talk. They have a plan how they're going to become champion. They have a plan how they're going to beat their opponent. And usually I got my influence by 3 legendary wrestlers, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, and CM Punk. And nice. I listened to these promos, and I said, okay, I can see how I can put this in my speaking style. And when I make these videos, I observe what's currently going on, what's currently going on in our atmosphere today. Any issues that I notice within my generation or the generation above me or below me, and I kind of just make a video, especially with my most recent one on Facebook and YouTube. I did one based on, people who claim 2020 is their year. And, a lot of people come up short because they're not consistent with their goals. I didn't make this video to call them out. I did this video because I have belief in them, but they need to back up their talk. And, I just saw so many people claiming, 2020 is my year, 2020 is my year. And as I stated in my video, it's easier to claim something, but it's harder to back it up, especially when you say an entire year is yours, but that is the only time you say it. So that's where I mostly get my ideas from my videos, and also the style that I do them in. I try to. It's like cutting a promo, and it's actually very fun. It's pretty enjoyable. How many retakes I have to do is ridiculous, but it gets the message across.
I feel you. I definitely understand where you're coming from, man. I definitely just today I actually I was recording. I like to do these short videos too, called Regálame un minuto, which is just give me a minute of your life, basically. And I had to do for that one. I think I had to do 4 takes because where I record them is at my workplace, so I have to go to one of the common areas and then just wait until everybody gets out, or it's until there's nobody around, so that you don't hear their voices in the back. And I had to, just because of that, I had to do 4 retakes because people started screaming in the background. And so that's just part of what we do, I guess. But talk to me a little bit about, I think I want to talk to a little bit about what you said. Since we're starting the year, might as well just talk a little bit about what you were talking in that video. And I think from my perspective, I think is people tend to, and me included, people tend to, I guess, undermine what they can do, and also think that they can do more of, if they talk, let's say, if they say, oh, I'm gonna be fit by the end of the year, they don't realize that the year is gonna be here faster than they know, and so they're just saying it out of their mouth but not putting in the work, which is what I always preach. If you want to get results, you have to just putting in the work, and putting in the work means doing it from the moment that you said that you were going to do it till the end. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's all about progress. I said it straightforward. if your 2019 is going to be the same thing in 2020, if we do not make any progress, it doesn't take the strike of a midnight. It doesn't take the midnight of January 31st for you to do something. And that's because the new year is ushering in. You know, I get it. There's a lot of emotions going in. You know, you probably had a tough year, and you're probably trying to change things, and that's totally respectable. But, you know, you have to do these things before the new year comes in, because it's going to be way more easier. You don't feel like there's a fresh start. You're just doing your normal everyday things.
Right.
And that's why I say, you know, when I promised that I want to speak at least at 3 universities by June of 2020, I had to do the work in 2019. I had to reach out to these colleges. I had to confirm a date with them. I had to make sure that they're going to pay my price. And, you know, now I'm ready to do it in 2020.
Right.
And when it comes to, that's why I particularly don't do resolutions. Resolutions is something that at the moment you say, I got all year to do this, and I probably won't do it all the way through. I never make going to the gym a resolution, because most likely it's not going to happen. I know it's going to happen sometime the year, but it's not going to happen the beginning of 2020. That's why gyms make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see me before. You obviously know I don't go to the gym. But but I know I have to be healthy. I know I have to make healthy choices.
Right.
And I know during 2020 I have to make healthy choices. When I decide to make them, it all depends on my mood and if I'm motivated to do it.
Absolutely.
It's great that people are motivated when 2020 starts, but are they willing to be motivated in February, in March, in April, in June, and I just skipped over a whole month, in May? Are they gonna still do it? It's the end goal.
You know what I think? I think it's there's I always think that there is 3 stages of you getting from where you are at right now to where you want to be. Right. So the first stage to me, and this is very, you know, kind of, I don't want to say personal, because it's just a process that everybody goes, I guess. But the first thing is you are interested. So when you become interested in something, like, let's say you become interested in learning more, in growing more, in being a leader. So you that all the everything that has to do with those topics are going to be of interest to you, and so you're going to be paying a little bit more attention. After that, after you go through that phase of of becoming more interested and learning more, then I think that's where the commitment goes. So you have the interesting, so where you're interested in something, then you're committed to actually learn that something, and then you become involved. So those are the 3 stages. And so you have to go through those 3 stages for anything that you do, whether it is learning something new, becoming something, or you're getting a new habit, you know. So you have to be interested in having that new thing that you want to do. You have to be committed to have it, and then you become involved, which to the point of, you know, the habit or whatever it is becoming your lifestyle. I think that's why, and people don't realize that. People stay at the first stage of just being interested, of just saying it out loud, and that's it.
Right, and you know, that's a one flaw in social media. You know, they claim it on social media, they get all these likes, and you know, it's a good feel-good moment. But you know, people do remember that. Some people do remember what you said, and you know, by the time the end of the year happens, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't do anything," or you know, during the year, like, "I can't do it," and things like that. It's like they're kind of searching for validation. And this is my thing. This is my thing with validation. You don't need to validate anyone what you want to do. If you totally feel what you're doing is enough, that's all that matters.
Correct.
That's all that matters. If you want to go produce a song and put it on Facebook, you don't have to put it on Facebook. Hey, how many of you think I should post it on Facebook? Just post it on Facebook. See who's gonna watch it. See who's gonna like it. You know. And I like the stages thing because it's a great example. My father shares a great example. You know, when you're born, you don't know how to walk right away. You don't know how to talk right away.
Correct.
But we're curious. We're curious and we're interested because we want to talk. We want to do what our mom and dad is doing. We want to walk through so we can do things on our own. You know, it's a process.
Right.
You know, it takes little by little, and sometimes it takes a long time for some of us. You know, some of us don't start walking right away at the stages that they think we're going to start walking, but we're still learning. The point is to stay interested and to continue learning. Some people think to get to they see one high point in their life. They get a good glimpse of what a good life can be, and they automatically think they made it. They don't think it's going to be swept right under them and that it's all over. And I saw it in so many people this year. And, you know, it's usually those people, it's hard to talk to them because, you know, I know this individual, and he talked to me once, and he just thought he had it all figured out. He thought he had it all figured out. He was telling me what to do. You know, I just let him talk, you know. He was bragging. And he lost his job. And literally the day after, he talked to me about this. And I couldn't believe it myself. But, you know, it's about being humble about it, too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love it. I love it when people do post on social media like, oh, I got a manager job at Chick-fil-A. You know, a lot of us stereotype working on fast food is not a great career. It's actually a great career because, you know, you can work your way up for those manager positions and find your way in corporate and find yourself owning a franchise at one point. That's why I never undermine those things. Some of these artists that are on SoundCloud, you know, before I used to always joke about things like, oh, the SoundCloud rappers. But some of them are actually really good. Some of them are actually great writers. And they end up, you know, making a killing for themselves because they remain patient. They just feel consistent with their goals, and they know that this is their only way out through music. So that's why I bring up the passion and purpose thing. If you know what you're passionate about, that's what drives you in the morning. That's what gets you up in the morning. That's what makes you get up before your alarm because you're passionate about it. And it's your purpose in life. It's your purpose in life. And that's why, you know, with me motivational speaking, I'm very passionate about it. You know, I love to inspire people. I love to motivate people. The fact that I claim that I'm going to motivate over 10 million people by the time I turn 30, I have 9 years to do that. I possibly could do it by 25. Who knows? I don't know how life works. We don't know what's coming next. But I'm motivated. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me have these conversations with different people. I probably motivated more than I thought because someone brought to my attention that it's a chain reaction.
Absolutely.
You know, I could have motivated 10 people. They talk to like 3 people each. You know, it multiplies.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. That's
I
what
guess
carries a message. Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Right. So, you know, that's just a little bit. I hope that answered your question, by the way.
Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about you. So right now you're still at the university. I believe from the post that you've done, you're already finishing your bachelor's, right? What is the story that you can tell me that, you know, from when you were, you know, the struggles that you had to go through? I remember watching a video of one of your talks, of one of your, I don't think it was a talk. I think you were just more of giving out a speech, poetic speech, by the way. Is really good. In fact, as a matter of fact, let's just do this right now because we're talking about it, and I know probably at the end we might forget about it. How can we find your stuff on the internet? How can we find Gio on the internet?
Oh, it's perfectly easy. You can either find me on Facebook, which is Gio Negron Garcia, or you can find me on YouTube, which is also Gio Negron Garcia. I'm starting to post on Instagram. I just posted one video so far, but if you want to follow me, my Instagram handle is the Gio Effect _official, and make sure you follow me. I am staying consistent, trying to post every day. But again, you know, you need your breaks with social media, because unfortunately people use these platforms for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you kind of need a break from it. But please, you'll find all my content there. I stay very authentic. I think sometimes I could be a little bit goofy with the content I share, but I try to maintain a not goofy image, an authentic image, just proving that I'm human and that I am still young too.
Yeah,
People mistake my
absolutely.
age a lot. Um, I got the I'm 30. Hey, are you 35? And I was like, no, I'm nowhere near that. So that's why I started putting myself more out there authentically. People know that I'm goofy and that
Absolutely.
you've seen my Facebook
Yeah,
profile.
yeah, I
um,
100% support it, man. You're in the moment, and you have to enjoy it. Every
right,
minute that you get, you have to enjoy it. Now, tell me a
right,
little about I think you recorded a video. That's what we're talking about. You recorded a video of something that you had to go through. Talk to me a little bit about that. I think you might know what I'm talking about.
yeah. I think you're referring to "I Just Want a Dream" video.
Yes.
Yes. So the story behind that video is I had a job. I'm not going to mention the job because unfortunately I'm still at the university where I had the job. um,
Yeah, yeah, and
so
that's not relevant. The
yeah,
message is, that's what's relevant right now.
yeah. So the message was I was trying to deliver that I want a dream, no matter what the barriers are. And me being in that job that I didn't like, I thought I didn't have no purpose in this world. I thought the team that I had made me feel like I wasn't doing good enough. And my mom reassured me that I am doing enough, that I have to do what I have to do and whatever it takes. That my perspective of the world and how I view people is all that matters. It's the mindset. If I think that I'm not good enough, then that's what it is. But if I think that I'm good enough, that I'm doing enough, then that's what it is. And that was the message behind that, and also the struggles that I had to face.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I went to poverty.
Right.
And a lot of my friends did. That was one misfortune I had in my life, and also that, I had a lot of failed relationships. It happens, and unfortunately, these relationships ended with me getting cheated on. 2 consecutive times, and that doesn't weigh well on the young mindset. It's obviously something I get over. It happens.
Right. Right.
Live and learn, but it still weighs on your conscience. It still weighs on everything that you want to do because you're like, wow, I actually had a plan, and now it's not happening no more. And as you notice that and especially at the time that I did that video, things were being taken away from me. I lost opportunities. I was being replaced. I was constantly being talked about, and I never gave anybody negative energy. I was always giving good vibes, and I was always trying my very best. And at this time, it really taught me that it truly matters what the individual thinks about themselves and what they're trying to accomplish. And that there's going to be people out there that are not going to like what you're doing. And it doesn't matter. They have to sit down and watch you do it because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
inevitable. I tell people at this point in my life that my success is inevitable. Like you have no choice, but either you can delete me as a friend, you can you can just block me if you don't want to watch what I'm doing, or just don't follow me. But at the same time, just don't sit there and think about what I'm doing. Be worried about what you're doing, what you're trying to execute, and I'm gonna be there to sit down and give you a round of applause. When I made my video, with the other video that we're referencing to, I want people to, text me and rub it in my face. I want them to. They executed. They finally did something they said they were going to do. And I'm going to give them a round of applause. I'm not going to hate on what they're doing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they're doing great. And I'm happy about what they're doing.
Absolutely. I think that you said two things that I really, really, really like, and that I always preach is, your thoughts, your things that you're going through, do not define what you could be, what you could become, and
Right.
that's good or bad. Like sometimes
Right.
people just stay in the mentality of, right now I'm great. Right now I'm doing great. Right now I am. Let's say if you're, in the top on the top of the world, and you feel like you're Superman, and you don't think like your mindset at that point sometimes becomes this egomaniac, I guess, where you don't think that you can fall from there. So that's kind of a good thing in a way, because it makes you work hard if you know how to channel it right. But the opposite is also true. Like, when you're in a dark place, that your thoughts are invading everything, that even the damage becomes physical. Like, there's so much negativity in your mind that you can almost feel it as a pain in your body. I've learned that you are not your thoughts. Like, your mindset is something kind of almost, you could even say it's almost separate from what you can be. And so there's you have to make a good distinction of what thoughts are you gonna follow. Are you gonna follow the good things, or are you gonna follow the bad things? So it's all on you. All right. And the second thing that I like that you said is, being grateful for the good things that are happening to others, even if those other people might not do the same for you. I'm a firm believer that I think if you don't accept, or if you don't appreciate what other people have, I think if you're thinking in abundance kind of a way, you're denying those things to yourself as well. Because if we, in a grand scheme of things, everything is like a circle. Everything goes around. And so if you are like, jealous, or, you deserve, you wish something bad to happen to somebody because they got something and you didn't, believe me, karma is a biatch, and it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? So, I think I like to think positive, even with the people or the things that are not making me feel good at the moment. I try to do my best to try to stay on the positive note, and I think that makes a really great difference in the way you live your life. So those two things are great.
Right, and if you fill your heart with jealousy, that's why all this anger comes from. It's a very ugly thing.
Yeah.
You can't live your life peacefully. You're always complaining about something. I just say let people live their life the way they want to.
Yeah.
Just don't be a critic. Just don't, unless you care about the person. It's a different story. If you see that they're doing something wrong, obviously you want to address it because you care. But other than that, let people live their lives. If they feel like they have firm control of what they're doing, let them at it. Let them at it. And I'm there to support them. Other than if they're doing something bad, obviously I want to talk to them, see how they're doing, because you just never know. And if I could be very real, when I bring up about, being at that high point, you feel like you're at that high point, and it can be dragged under you. When I first got my apartment in Kutztown, I thought I was on top. I finally got my apartment. I'm 21. I'm living on my own. And the first 2 weeks, Louis, I didn't have electricity. Wow. I didn't have enough money to put down for a deposit to turn my electricity on. Nor did I have enough money for food.
Wow.
I was eating sandwiches with cheese whiz for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because I didn't have enough money to go to a restaurant. I didn't have enough money to, go to the dollar store at least and buy something. I didn't even have money. But I had my apartment. And literally, when you talk about those dark places, I was in a dark place, literally, at night. All I had was my bed. All I had was these tables that they gave me, but I was sitting in the dark. And I noticed that this is the times in life that you're going to be in a dark place. You're going to be down. But it's how you think. It's how you're going to push through.
Yeah,
I didn't tell my parents about it because I wanted to get through it on my own. I wanted to learn these lessons. This is something that's going to strengthen me. Thank God right now I'm living in a house that my light's actually on. But I remember those first 2 weeks, no electricity. I didn't have power to charge my phone. I literally had to get up at 3 in the morning to go to the university, charge my phone, and then come back, and then get up at 8 in the morning for class.
Wow.
And I did it because I knew that it's all in the mindset at that point.
Absolutely.
I could have called myself a bum. I could have called myself not worthy. I could have said that I'm unattractive because my lights are not even on. I don't even have food in my fridge. But no, I said I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to go through this. And the first paycheck that I get, I'm going to buy groceries. I'm going to go turn on my electricity. And it's going to be okay from there. And
Absolutely.
that's exactly what I did. During those 2 weeks, I read. I started practicing my speeches. But I learned what my life was like without power. And literally without power and without power myself to, change it. And, it's what it is. And nobody knows about that. Nobody knows about them because, I didn't post it on social media. It's something that was personal. And I hope people that are listening to this, I'm not saying this for people that have sympathy or empathy for me. I'm saying this because there's going to be moments like this. There's going to be moments that you feel like you're down and out, but it's going to take the mindset. It's going to take yourself the power through this. During the beginning of this month, I didn't even have enough money. I didn't even recognize that I wouldn't even have enough money to pay for my food. And what's good enough is that the people who cared about me, and they noticed that I have a good mindset, they noticed I have a positive mindset, they showed up and they brought me a whole grocery. I did a whole grocery thing for me. They brought me food. They gave me gift cards. And I was like, why did you do this for me? And they told me specifically, they said that you are always willing to give, but I know people are not willing to give back. And they say that you're always positive. Even though you're struggling, you're still positive. And they did that for me, and I was so grateful. So, these are the struggles that I currently go through, and I used to go through. That's why I'm still consistently going. I'm not letting nothing bring me down at this point. I have seen it all. I've been through it all. And, when I hear people complain about the simple things in life, things that they can change, I don't get irritated. I kind of correct them. I kind of hold them accountable. That's why I'm a little tougher on people, because it's not like, I get it. You're going through something, and I understand. But are you going to change it, or are you going to complain about it?
Right.
Are you just going to go to social media and complain about it and have all these people, give you sympathy, but they're not doing nothing to change about it either?
Right. Absolutely.
And, if I could, that's just me being real for a second, because I don't want nobody to mistake that just because I'm doing all these engagements, that I'm posting about all these good moments in life, that I don't fail, that I don't go through these tough times, that I don't go through these hard times. And I do post it on social media too, all my failures, because I want people to understand that I do fail too. Yeah,
exactly. We're all humans, just for the simple fact that we speak, to motivate other people, that doesn't mean we're perfect. You know what I mean? So we're gonna shout out all the positive and not necessarily all the negative, but we go through a lot of struggle too. Like, I mean, how do you think we learn? Like, the failures are the best teachers, because they show you from practice what life is all about. But talking about something else, Gio, let me ask you something. What's your inspiration? What inspires you every day to get up? What are you shooting for? I know you mentioned the 10 million people that you want to help, but what's your inspiration? What's something that you think about all the time?
Honestly, my inspiration is my future. I think about it all the time. I constantly think about it. And I constantly think about how can I change it? How can I make it happen? That's what inspires me. It really does. How can I influence the world? How can I make my promises and, get my parents that house?
Yep.
How can I send my brother and my sister-in-law, how can I send them on that first-class trip? How can I get them the car that they wanted? How can I send my sister around the world like she wants to travel? That's what inspires me.
Nice.
That's what truly inspires me. Who can I meet in the day? Who can I learn from? How can I learn? What is God going to give me? And of course, I don't want to, influence the religious part on anybody. That's just my inspiration.
Which is fine too. I support that. But it's interesting. The majority of the things that you mentioned that inspire you are things that help other people. And so it's very interesting to know, even on the things that always inspire you are things that talk about helping other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's really important. And what's something that you would think, or that you would say is part of fears that you have? What do you think? What do you consider fears that you might have right now? And I'm not talking about, obviously, I'm not talking about normal human being fears. I'm talking about just mental things that you've thought about.
My only fear, and honest to God, my only fear that I have is that I can't get up in the morning. That I'm not gonna have drive one day. I'm not gonna have motivation one day, and that's how I'm gonna live the rest of my life. That is my only fear. That if I get to that point, that I just don't have a good mindset anymore. That is my fear, that I might become someone that I don't want to become.
Right. What do you think is success for you? Besides, obviously, like you mentioned, helping that many people in your lifetime, or before you're 30. What do you think? What do you consider to be success for you? What would you say Gio is going to be successful when?
Right. I think, honestly, success to me is making progress. It's always the little things, maybe you didn't accomplish everything you wanted to, but you made progress toward your goal. I think that's success to me. I don't think it's about just doing the big things. It's about the little things too, and making progress towards your goal.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me something that somebody maybe mentioned to you, like a little piece of advice. And sometimes the best advices, they come from, what we call unwanted advice. Sometimes they have the little gems there that you can keep. Do you have any advice that somebody gave to you that you always think about whenever you're going to be doing something?
And honestly, it's great that you asked that, because I actually got a great piece of advice this afternoon for lunch, during my lunchtime. Someone mentioned to me that you should always be willing to listen. That there's going to be time to talk, and there's going to be time just to listen and observe. And the reason being is because sometimes when you're just silent is the best thing you can do. That you understood that maybe it wasn't your place to speak upon something, and that you don't always need to have your voice in something. Sometimes it's just best that you just sit back, observe, and learn.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of learning, and there's no way you can learn if you're talking. You have to be quiet and listening to learn. You can't be learning while you're talking. So that's why you have to, keep it to yourself sometimes. I know we the ones that like to talk, to motivate, to make other people grow, we have the tendency of talking too much. But I've learned over the years, and because I'm a fanatic of learning, there's no way that you can learn if you're talking. So I've tried to make myself, force myself into silence to learn something new, because I really love learning too. What book are you reading right now, or what was the last book that you read recently?
So currently I have a book in front of me. It's called Use Your Difference to Make a Difference. And it's basically how to connect and communicate in a cross-cultural world. It's by Teo Roxon. I met this individual in New Jersey during a leadership conference. Amazing individual. So I needed his book because he had a beautiful mindset. And basically, the whole purpose of the book is basically how to make a difference in a different environment than the one that you're currently in.
Right.
You always have to hold conversations with other people other than the people you talk to on an everyday basis.
Right.
And honestly, it's a very great book because a lot of us want to travel. A lot of us want to do things outside of the environment that we're currently in. But it can be difficult to hold the conversations because we don't know nothing about the culture, that we don't know nothing about where we're going. But I think this book helps you ease those tensions and become more confident, and it helps you also go and do some research, maybe ask more questions, focus more on the demographics. That's why I love the Latino convention, because it wasn't just only Latinos there. There's other people of other ethnicities and cultures, and they wanted to learn our culture, and they were holding very great conversations. They know what was going on, and that's why I really love this book.
Nice. Let's repeat the name of the book and the author for the people in the back that didn't hear.
Yes, it is Tayo Roxon. That is the author. It's Tayo, and then Roxon. And then the title of the book is Use Your Difference to Make a Difference.
Use your difference to make a difference. I wrote it down here to add it to my long list of books so that hopefully I'm gonna be alive by the time I get to the bottom of that list. You know what I'm gonna do? Yeah. So what happens is, and it's kind of funny because I don't know if many people have this problem. So I get so many recommendations, and I'm always looking for the next book because I love reading, right? And I just keep adding book to a long list that I have on Amazon. So what I'm doing, instead of just going through the list, I just like to pick a random book from the list, because if they're on the list, they should be good. So at this point, I'm just picking randomly and then just ordering them and getting them. That's probably the way I'm picking them. At least two or three I would order randomly like that. And talking about books, still on that same line, do you have a book that you can say, you know what, if I had one book to recommend based on everything that I've read, and honestly, it doesn't even have to be one book. Like it could be a movie too. Like there's something that you took so much knowledge out of it, or something that was like an epiphany that you got. What would that be?
If I can think off the top of my head, usually I reference it a lot. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the book a lot. Honestly, a lot of the lessons that are taught in that book, it's how you deal with people, how to do things properly, how to deal with life, and how to understand different people's situations. That book, I think that's something everybody should read.
Absolutely, man. I think whoever is on this path of trying to be better for themselves has to read that book. Like that's one of the probably the top 10 books of all time, probably in self-help and communication, everything, man. I think that book has it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I love that book. Like I have it here, and every once in a while I still open it to read a paragraph or 2 pages or something like that, because it's always good to remember.
The fact that it was written so long ago, and
I
that's
know.
so relatable to the point, it's like he just wrote for the future.
I know, it's crazy how the freaking book has like 60 years old or something like that, something crazy like that.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you have anything that you do? I call it a ritual, but I don't even know if using that word is right. I guess I want to say, because I don't think it's a habit. But there's something that you do every day. Like if you, like Dominicans would say, well, if you don't eat rice every day, you haven't eaten that day. So something like that. Like
Right.
if you haven't done this every day, like you wouldn't be you. Do you have something like that?
If I didn't make someone smile or smile myself, I didn't have a good day.
Wow, I love it. I love it, man. That's
I
great.
I think every day, you should at least make one person smile. And it happens. You might crack a joke. You might just say something great. Also, you have to be happy yourself. You have to smile. That's why I take every day and I pick out 3 things that were great about my day. If I can at least pick out 3, it was a great day, despite everything else that happened.
Nice,
So yeah,
man. Nice.
smiling myself and making other people smile.
Absolutely, I love it, man. I'll steal that from you, man. Because
Yes.
that's something really great. Like if we can make the people a better place just by making people smile, man, that should be the goal. That right there should be the goal. Now, Gio, I know you're just 21 years old, and I know there's a long path ahead of you, and you have some big dreams. But to this point, do you have a moment of realization that you've said, you know what, man, I did it. Like this feels phenomenal. Have you had a moment like that already?
Man, I had that moment a lot of times. Graduating high school, getting into college, getting my first job at the college that I go to, which is Kutztown University.
Yep.
Being able to look my mother in the eye and tell her that I'm going to college tuition free.
Nice. That should have been.
Being able to speak in front of either 3 people, 10 people, 50 people, and getting paid for my first speaking engagement. Those are moments that I say I finally did it.
That's great, man. That's great. I love it. Now, in your life so far, and again, I have to mention it because at 21, there's many things that I did up until 21, but there's many more that I've done after that. You know what I mean? So is there anything that you could, let's say, if I give you the opportunity to go back in time, if there anything that you could have done differently, not necessarily that you have a regret, but that you could have done differently, is there anything like that already?
Honestly, yes. During my high school years, I wish I could have gone back and humbled myself more. I was really, I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot for my age, and I thought I was in the top pedestal. I thought I was untouchable, and I didn't humble myself. And this is why I go across the country and let people know that I failed as a high school student, not academically, and not, of course, I got into college tuition free, is because I failed to be humble.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that, these things can be taken away from me, that these things that someone will set you straight and that someone will tell you how it is. And the thing is, I didn't listen. And I just kept going and going. And so it got to the point that I said, why am I doing this? Why am I living this life? Why do I have this attitude? Wow. And I really wish that I could have changed that. I think honestly, in high school, if I was humble, everything would have been great. Honestly, I wouldn't have that regret. But that was just one thing I look back on, that one, I wasn't humble, and also that I didn't listen. And
I think those are just, at this point, that phase is just part of what make the Gio of now the Gio of now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you had to go through that, and you had to do it that way, which is why you shouldn't feel any regret. However, if you could have done it, if you could have do it differently, then yes, you would. But I don't think regret is the right word. I stopped using regret a long time ago because I understood that. Because I would rather live in peace with myself now in the moment than putting myself, or just I guess hurting myself thinking back, oh, what could have done? I could have done this much better. Yes, there's some things that you wish you could change but regret. That's a strong one. And that's just me personally, because when you talked about high school, man, I want to go back to high school just to enjoy it even more. Like, it's different
Right.
for everybody. So
True.
yeah, and probably you're gonna see it the same way, even though you think that way right now. Probably by the time you're 30 or 35, you're gonna feel like, man, I wish I could be in high school again. So something like that. But anyhow, I think we're running out of time here, Gio, and I am going to step away. I'm going to give you your time so that you can drop some words, because I know you have them.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna give you time to be you. Let me hear, not me, because I already heard what you can do, but let my people,
Right.
the people listening to this podcast, let them hear who Giovanni Negron Garcia has to do.
Right. And what I want to tell to everybody right now, and what I offer is, what I offer is I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to do everything that is possible in order to ensure my future. And what I'm trying to display to you and to everybody that's listening, know that you can make it. Know there is an end goal, and know that once you start something, you must finish. You must finish. Do not quit on yourself, and do not let others determine if you're going to make it or not. You're going to make it. You're going to do great things. You're set out to do amazing things. And just know God is looking above you, and know that He is blessing you continuously, and that He's looking after you. There's lessons in life that we have to learn. There's lessons in life that we don't want, but we're going to get. And just know that everything is always going to benefit you at the end of the day. Always listen. Make sure you can sit back and listen, and just know that this life is yours. Make it as you want it to be. And remember to always do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes at the end of the day to ensure your future.
Absolutely. I love it. There's nothing that I can add to the words that you have just said. The only thing that I want to add is how, I know we mentioned it before, but tell my people how we can find Giovanni Negron Garcia on the internet, Instagram, Facebook. Right. How can we find you?
Okay, so first on Facebook, you can add me as a friend, which is my Facebook name is Gio Negron Garcia. It's Gio Negron Garcia. As well as you can find me on YouTube, which is again the same name, Gio Negron Garcia. And also you can find me on Instagram at the GeoFact_official. Again, I display content. I try to do it on a daily basis. But you can definitely message me at any time, and I would love to conversate with everybody.
Love it. So remember also to follow us on Instagram. Our handle is, you can find us on Instagram by looking for Encaminados al Éxito, and you can find this podcast. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time because somebody else is playing it for you, you can find it on all the main platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and if anything, you can probably try to search on Google, on YouTube. You can search for Luis Romano or Encaminados al Éxito, and that way you can listen to it. If you follow the Instagram page, the Encaminados al Éxito, on the bio link, you're gonna find the link to the podcast directly. So you don't need to have any of the other platforms. If you want to listen to the episode directly, you can go to the Instagram. And first, obviously, you have to follow me because, right? And then you can go to the, to my profile and hit on the link, and you'll get to the link directly. I want to thank everybody for letting me and Gio talk to you for this amount of time. If you're listening in the morning, have an awesome rest of your day. If you're listening in the afternoon, have a very good evening. And nothing, I hope you have everything that you need and that you get even more. Up until the next time we're here, next time is probably going to be in Spanish, but either or, we're going to be doing this in Spanglish. How about that? One episode here and there in English, because why not? All right. Thank you again. Have a beautiful rest of the day, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.